Hi, I'm Danny and these are my Diecast Disasters, and in this video I've got a little wee Tomica Morgan Plus 8. This was given to me by one of my mates. I think he'd found it in an op shop or something. See, it's a bit beat up there, bent axles, and it's missing the windscreen. Tomica released these in 1977. Same year I was born. So there's one post holding it all together. Just drill that out. And then I can take the base off. So there's a couple of tabs up the front there. See the bent axle there. And the interior. And then there's the spare wheel here. It's made of plastic. And it's just been mushroomed over there, so use my craft knife to trim that, and then I can push it out with the pick there. It's two parts. There's a hub and a tyre. They're both made of plastic. Right, next I'm going to pop these old wheels and axles out from under that suspension plate. I use some paint stripper to strip the paint off of the casting. And now I can use the wire brush on my rotary tool to give them a further clean up. So the Tomica are pretty decent quality toys. Nice solid tidy castings. Okay, so there's the body casting after a clean up. Also drilled and tapped the rear post there. It's pretty shallow. I can only drill in a few millimeters. I used my 3D printer to print a couple of little window frames here. You'll see these fit into those slots where the original windscreen would have gone. So giving them a test fit, and I'll pop them back out, and then I can paint the car. So I started out with some black primer, then I'm going to paint my little Morgan in a nice metallic blue. Next I needed some white circles for the doors, so to make these I'm taking some clear decal paper. Then I've used a drill and a piece of styrene sheet to make myself a little mask with a couple of circles on it. And I've taped that onto a piece of the decal paper and spray painted it with a couple of coats of white. Then when I take the mask off, it gives me a couple of little white circles. And then I can just cut those out and apply them onto the doors of my little Morgan. Next I've detailed the headlights and the indicators. Then I finished all of that with a couple of coats of gloss varnish. Now I can put the window frames into place. So here's the rear wheel, and it's not going to match the new wheels I'm going to be putting on the car. So I'm going to use a little bit of epoxy putty, and I'm going to cover it over. So just mixing up my epoxy putty there, and then I applied a little bit over the hub. Then I let that cure, and then gave it a sand to tidy it up. Right, there we go. Now I could give it a coat of black, and I want to put a strap around it so it's like it's got leather over it and a strap holding it down. So I'm using a little piece of thick tape there, stick that on, and then cut out a little tiny buckle, glued that on. And then I detail the buckle and the strap. And just press that into the back of my Morgan. And finally, I've cut out a couple of little windscreens, and I used some crystal clear to glue them into the frames. Onto the interior now. So it was a bit grubby, not too bad, but I gave it a wash and some water. Then I've glued a couple of little wee headrests onto it, and I've got a couple of paper clips here. I'm just going to use this inner curve on them to make some roll bars. Just use my pliers to cut that off. And that'll fit behind the seats. I use a little wee drill and my pin vise to drill out the holes behind the seats. I mark them out by putting a little bit of paint on the ends of the paper clip, and then using that to mark where the holes would be, and then I could just put them in place and glue them. And then it was given all a fresh coat of black, and then I detailed the steering wheel there and the dash and the roll bars. Right, so here's the chassis. I'm going to be putting these aftermarket wheels on it. They come with little axles, but they're a bit thicker than the wiry ones that were originally on the car. So you'll see they don't actually fit through the little gaps. So I'm going to have to use a drill and drill those holes out a bit bigger. Okay, so now the axles are fitting in there. And you can see that those posts that are holding them in place also stick out just a little bit. And the new wheels I'm putting on are quite wide, so I'm going to use a file just to file those sticky out bits down, and then it'll just give me another millimetre or so of room in there. Right, there we go. The axles are fitting and it's nice and smooth in the wheelbase. Right, so here's the new wheels, the rims anyway. So I hit these with a base coat of silver, and then I detailed them with some gold. And here they are with the tyres on them. And so that's all of the hard work done pretty much. Now I've just got to put it all back together. So I've put the axles in and the wheels just press onto them. Then you just drop the interior into the body and fit the base on. And then I'm using a little button head screw that I've cut down really short. And that's our little Morgan all back together. Just before we check out the finished product, let's take a quick look back at what we started with. Here it is, scruffy with its bent axle and missing windscreen. Let's see how it looks with a custom makeover. And here it is now, our finished customized Tomica Morgan Plus 8. Made it all the way from the 70s. And now it's getting a well-deserved makeover, ready to go out on the track. Or maybe touring around the countryside of a weekend. Anyway, it's got a nice new blue paint job. The interior's been customised there with new roll bars and headrests. It's got new windscreens, the spare tyres been tidied up, and of course that nice new set of aftermarket wheels. So let me know what you think of it in the comments down below. Before we go, big shout out to my Patreons. Thanks heaps for supporting the channel. Check out the link below if you want to help out as well, or get some cheap super glue. Thanks heaps for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Remember to like and subscribe and all that stuff if you want to see more similar content, and I'll catch you in the next one.